Hey guys, and welcome back to my Vintage Story Let's Play. Now, in the last episode, I moved bases. I got myself set up in my new home, and I got a little bit of work done behind the scenes. As you can see, I have an incredibly gorgeous view out here. Look at this. Like, I am so glad I moved out here. But you can see one of the things I kind of got started on off camera is I got myself a chicken pen. But I will be showing you guys what I've been up to. It's not very much. I just kind of gathered myself some more. What is that sound? What is that? I don't know. I did install the zoom mod, so that's helpful. Yeah, there's my chickens. Okay, cool. It's getting to be evening, actually. But, you know, anyway. I did a little bit of decorating. I put some more grass on the top. These are the cages I caught the chickens in. My little pond. I added these vines around my base here. Go inside. Added a little bit of extra aesthetic, which is appropriate for a hunter. My lovely bearskin rug. I also got my cooking set up, my pantry. Awesome. So I definitely have a lot I need to get done. And to be very honest, I don't even know where to start. Because now that I have a saw, I can make barrels, so I can get started tanning. There is like a layer of limestone in this area that I can use to make like that tanning solution. I can't remember the name exactly. Lime water. Yeah. Make lime water out of limestone. Alright, cool. Then also, what I really need to do is start working on getting some bronze. I have my smithing set up here. It's starting to turn nighttime. I have my smithing set up. My coal reserves, or my charcoal, I should say. It's looking quite bad, so I'm going to have to make a new charcoal pit. Also, I'm probably going to have to work on getting the farm set up over here. Now, I did run and have a look at the current crop progress back in my old spot, and the only thing that's ready to harvest are carrots. But either way, I'm thinking of putting the new farm area over here on these ridges, making kind of like, maybe like little terraced farms. That would be kind of neat. Oh, there's a little ravine here. What is... What the hell is that? Why are they up there? What are those? They're all just clustered at the... Oh, man. If I spook those, they are gonna fly off of this mountain ridge and die. Oh, there's no way to get them down, is there? Oh, that's awful. Simply awful. Oh, anyway. As you can see, we have a lot of natural berry bushes. There's actually some peat over here, too. Which isn't great for farming. But I could dig all this up. There's a cute little pond here. And the sun has now set. That's the only downside of living in a valley. Is that, you know, when the sun starts to set, you're like almost instantly in shadow. Oh, yeah. Anyway, here's my chickies. Hi, chickies. Obviously, I have nothing to feed them yet, so there's no eggs, which is a problem. But at least I have them here for the future. But for right now, I'm gonna... Oops, I don't need to eat these. I'm not even hungry. I'm gonna throw them in here. Do I have room? Yeah, I got room. I also did a bit of foraging too. I got a lot of mushrooms. Lots of mushrooms. Really look at that. Vegetables aplenty. For a hunter, I am living a largely vegetarian diet. Look at this. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. My protein and fruits maxed out. I'm gonna start getting my vegetable up. Grain, you know, take it or leave it. Dairy is obviously something that's going to take quite a while to really do anything with. So, anywho, while there's still a little bit of time in the evening, I think I'm gonna make a few things. I'm also gonna have to make a new pit killing area. But I'll worry about that when it's time to worry about it. But for now, I want to make some decorative items. I want to make some flower pots and some planters just to get started with some actual decorating. This flower pots is something I really don't ever make. But I will get back with y'all once I am done. Alright, so got my flower pots, red clay planters. Oh, Jesus. I did not expect the sun to be right there. Okay, so let's find a nice little spot for my new pit kilns. There. Okay. Got that started. Now, I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to do next. So the next thing I decided on doing was getting some barrels together so I could start finally making some very much needed leather. Boom, easy. After that, I decided to go check up on the farms I left behind, see where everything was, and some of the carrots were ready. Perfect for harvesting, so I'm gonna have plenty of carrot stew in the future. Unfortunately, nothing else was ready to harvest, and the berry bushes were still just in the flowering stage. But they should be ready pretty soon. Then on my way back home, there's another bear. I had this encounter. I'm gonna trap him. Into the bear pit he goes. Let's see, where's the old bear? Is he still in there? Yeah, he's still in there. What is that? Black bear? Looks like it. Don't worry, you'll have a nice friend very soon. Oh, and a wolf. Oh. Oh, he's right here. He's right there. I did not expect this to be a wolf catching pit. Where did... Oh. Oh, he's in there. I was looking for the bear. Okay. Where is the bear? He's up here somewhere. Watch him chomp my head off because I can't see him. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's running. Is that the one I was chasing before? might be. Because remember, one of these episodes I was chasing a black bear. And I lost sight of him. This might be the same one. Yeah, because he's not interested in fighting at all. So let me get up there. Oh. Oh. Oh my. Oh, not quite didn't get him. We will play Ring Around This Bear Pit as many times as necessary. Oh, jeez. Alright, listen, buddy. There we go. Why does one of these bears sound like a cow? Good lord. All that running around has made me very hungry, so I'm going back home. So after all that, I ate some berries. Gotta stave off that starvation, you know? And then I harassed a local emu. I know it's a moa, but come on. That thing looks like an emu. Now, I didn't know this, but they drop quite a bit of food, actually. Which I guess makes sense given the size of the creature that they are. But hey, more for me. And finally, on my way back home, I found some more copper bits and a lamb. A bighorn lamb. Decided to mark that on the map. Should I remember to come back out here. I tried to find a nice, cool little symbol for an animal, but they don't have one. So I just picked whatever. And then I was on my way. So after my long wander, come back home, check on the chickies. I do have a little bit of grains to give them. I figure why not? Let's see if I could get a few eggs out of them. Toss a few of those in there. And animals will indeed eat off of the ground, so I just chuck it on the ground. Well, they'll be alright. Then I remembered I need some oak logs so I can finally get started on this leather making endeavor. But before I can even get through all that, I need some tannins. But even before I could get through all of that, I also need lime water, which I'll get to in a bit, because you gotta make a kern first, and you gotta find limestone, mine it up, grind it up. But first we start with some oak logs. Then I start getting some limestone, which is thankfully readily available. Now, borax is more efficient, but I haven't been able to locate any of that close by. I know I did find a borax deposit closer to my original spawn point, but to be honest, I have no desire to run all the way back there for that, especially not when there's limestone right here. Also, while I'm getting the limestone, I'm also getting some solid andesite. Is this andesite? I think so. I just saw it, but who cares? Yeah, andesite rock. So I could make the kern. So I could get all this lovely limestone that I'm mining up all ground up. And of course, during my lengthy leather making endeavor, I get a warning for a temporal storm, which is now imminent. I fortified my house a bit, and hopefully I get a temporal gear. Alright, temporal storm is imminent. 21 in-game minutes. Now, as you can see, I'm gonna make an attempt. I need a temporal gear. hopefully drifters will wander in, get stuck, and I can beat them over the head with a spear. Should be able to reach them from here, actually. Maybe. I'm not sure. Find out. What the hell is that? Oh my lord. Is that a double-headed drifter? I mean, not a drifter. What do you call it? Shiver. Hitting me with this. Ow! Oh, that wasn't pleasant. Oh, that hurt me a little bit. Stop throwing rocks, you rebar bastard. He despawned. Alright. Well, that was pointless. I didn't get a single gear. Oh, and my flowers pots are done. Yes, I think all of the monsters are gone. So I will get back to attempting to do some progress here. So I finally get a chisel. Exciting. It means not only can I make this kern, I can actually start doing some chiseling projects, which I probably won't get to anytime soon. Right now my focus is on making this kern so I can finally grind up some lime, make lime water, and then finally start making leather. Oh yeah, and also I guess I could grind up some grains too while I'm at it, but I really don't have a large enough supply of grains to make any kind of flour making worth it. I also don't have a bread oven, so that's pretty much just a moot point at this stage. And of course, grinding will take forever without wind power. But thanks to the power of video editing, I'm already done. And now I can finally make some lime water once I learn how to count. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'll get there. Hold on a minute. Oh, there we go. Lime water achieved. I then remember that I don't actually have anything to put into the lime water until I recall that I have a bear pit. Well, a bear and wolf pit, which I will then proceed to spend the next 5 or so minutes stabbing infinitely at these animals running around in this trap. And trust me, this was as tedious as it looks. Bear skin goes in first, and now we wait. So while the leather making process is doing its thing, I decide that it's time to finally move on to the Bronze Age. Now, I had done some prospecting between episodes, and I noticed that there's no tin, there's no cassiterite to be found. However, luckily for me, I have both bismuth and zinc ores in my area. So guess what that means? Bismuth bronze. I actually have never made bismuth bronze as my main bronze type. I usually use tin bronze. And of course, my rowdy neighbors have something to say about it. They don't approve of my choice of metal, I guess. I don't know. But I proceed to beat them over the head in hopes of getting a temporal gear, which, of course, you know, they don't drop any because they are surface drifters and are pretty much worthless, unfortunately. But, oh well. Them's the breaks. Of course, there's a lot of other creepy crawlies outside, which means I'm going to have to wait till daytime before I even bother with going outside. Now, as you all well know, when you're doing metal smithing, it's very important that you have a large source of fuel. Unfortunately, that means you have to go and deforest your local area. Now, this is usually not too big of a problem, but when your axes are still in the Stone Age, it takes a while. Yes, I could use some of the copper that I have to make some copper axes to speed up this process a little bit, but I elect to hold off on using the copper that I have now so I can just jump into making bronze when I find the other ores for it. So I settle for slugging it out with some bone stone axes. The bone gives it a little bit more durability, if I recall correctly. And I start just carving into the large maple forest at the northern side of the mountain. Eventually, I want to make a pathway through the forest. As you saw before, it's incredibly dense. I'm also clearing around the pine trees so I can find resin a little bit more easily. But if the pine tree does not have any resin on it, I just chop it down and add it to the pile. I probably could get away with making some shears, but I'm not worried about that right now. So I get started on my charcoal pit. Gotta get that started. And that way I can have the charcoal smoking or burning or whatever you want to call it while I'm out mining. So that way, hopefully I'm not wasting too much time. Usually I'm not much of like a stickler for these kinds of things, but if I could kill like 2 birds with 1 stone, I'll get my prep work out of the way first and then go have a nice wander across the countryside while looking for my resources. I'm not sure what I ran back in the house for. I think I went to get more wood. Yep, there it is. Now I remember. I had to go. I knew I had some campfire, fire logs, whatever you call it, back at the base. Run back outside, throw it back in the pit. I mean, I can always get more later for cooking. And it's just before nightfall that I fill up my little 3x3 pit with enough logs to start a charcoal pit. Now this took a bit of time, but this will give me plenty to get started with. Then I can go in house, have a snooze, come back out, and get started searching for some metal. So it's a new day, and I decide to figure out which deposit I'm going to hit up first. Now, these percentiles, they're not percentages. I think they're per 1,000 blocks or something like that. The percentiles, quartiles, the amount per chunk isn't great, but you know, I figure, hey, I'm gonna hit at least something all within the nearby area. So I kind of do a little bit of double checking, and that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go hit up that node first and see what I can find. The drifters, of course, who cares? Gonna make my way downtown, walking fast. Faces past, but I'm not homebound this time. So at this reading, we have decent copper and sphalerite readings. So I decide that this is going to be the place to dig. Now, one thing I decided to do this time around is to actually try and check which host rock would be the best to look through, because you can only find like bountiful metal ores in certain host rocks. So I check out native copper first. I see that it spawns in basically all of the rock types. However, the clay stone only goes up to medium quality. But, you know, I say, okay, well, that's fine. It could also be rich in certain rock types, but bountiful, I think, is only in basalt. But I'm like, all right, that's fine. So here I'm banking on either finding copper or sphalerite. And unlike Minecraft, you can really just dig straight down without too much worry. There's not like giant lava lakes or anything like that that you'll fall into. Yes, you might fall into a cave system where really high tier mobs might spawn, but I kind of really just don't give a damn. Digging straight down is a valid choice of mining technique, and I'm just gonna go with it. So we dig through the clay stone, down through the limestone, and we keep going. I get myself some ladders so I have a way of climbing out of this incredibly deep pit that I am digging. Then I keep digging straight down, and much to my surprise, the very first spot I decide to start digging down at, I find ore almost right away. And not only did I hit ore right away, it's rich quality. I was like, I couldn't even believe it, to be honest with you. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna need this for a long time. So I go about digging all of it up. 17 rich chunks of sphalerite. Not too bad, not too bad. And, you know, on to the next ore as soon as I climb my way out. Now, the zinc was not at all difficult to find. You see, there is a cave system nearby where I had some decent zinc ratings, and I precariously make my way down there. Now, keep in mind, I don't have any armor yet. I don't really have any good weapons. I just have my copper falcons. And so if anything crazy spawns down here, like a bow torn or something like that, I'm gonna have a hard time. So I'm being exceedingly cautious. Like, I do not want to have to deal with much of anything. But as soon as I turn the corner, I'm like, oh my god, yes, I don't even have to dig for it. It's literally right here. Like, I couldn't even believe my luck. So obviously the particles from the torch is really annoying. I'm like, oh god, there's something gonna come out of the darkness. Maybe, I don't know. It looks like there are some mob spawners over there. I can't really see it through the fire particles, but there are some of those little, what are those spider things called? Anyway, who cares about that? There is ore to be mined. Okay. Now, I didn't mine all of the zinc ore I found. I got scared of being down in that cave, but I did end up walking away with 30 chunks of it. So I come back home, I give the leather a check. It's still in progress. You know, that's still gonna take more time. I also do a little bit of inventory management. Not too bad, not too bad. Eat some dinner, then go to bed. Not bad for a day's work. Next day, I get to it right away. All of the charcoal is done. thankfully, and it's not a bad amount. I think 3x3 is a perfectly reasonable size for a charcoal pit. And I dig all of this up. Then I have to figure out the ratios for the different ore types, which unfortunately involves math, which I really dislike. I settle on 70 pieces of copper, 20 pieces of zinc, and 10 pieces of bismuth, which will give me 500 units of bismuth bronze, and that should be plenty for my next set of tools. Now, while waiting for the metal to cool, I decide to dig myself a little tunnel from my so-called backyard, around the back of my little hut, to the western side of the mountain, just to give myself a little bit of an easier time going around the mountain. And voila, just like that, I now have a readily accessible path to the western side of the mountain. There are some berry bushes. I'm going to clean all of this up. There are a lot of maple trees in the way, which I decide, they have to go. Or at least some of the leaves anyway. Because this particular maple tree actually kind of grew in a very interesting shape. It's like not a standard maple tree shape, and I kind of really like the look of it. So I decided just to kind of trim back the branches a little bit, clean it up, and leave this neat maple tree like a natural marker of the entrance to my abode. And there we go, piece of cake. So by now, my bronze tools have cooled. I am now officially in the Bronze Age. Scoop everything up. I did make another batch of 500 units of bismuth bronze, and I'm also going to pour these out. This time, just a pickaxe. I'm definitely going to give myself a shovel, which will make digging any tunnels much easier. My first bronze axe, and some lovely ingots, just in case I have something else in mind I want to make. But that's pretty much it for the metal front. And yeah, I got a lot done. Honestly, looking like I'm in pretty good shape. Now to actually make the tools. Figure out my inventory space, because I'm very silly and I have a lot of stuff while I was just digging a tunnel. I keep trying to chuck stuff and not pick it up again, and I'm trying to get all that sorted. Anyway, whatever. Here are my tools. Yeah, so with that, I think I'm going to bring this episode to a close. Now with this one, I was trying a little bit of a different editing style by doing more voiceover work after the fact. I saw some other YouTubers do that, and I just wanted to give it a try myself just to see how I liked it. Honestly, I'm still not sure on it. I'm still trying to find my own style with these videos. As far as the episode today, it doesn't seem like I got a lot done. All I did was finally start leather and get some metal tools. But with Vintage Story, these processes are extremely time consuming. But with that, I will catch y'all in the next episode. Till then, take care. I'll catch you later. Bye.